Yeah. Say the market's tight, gripping, hold fast. Charts keep flipping and dipping. Flip that. Mainstream more than middle. Nah. Traditionalists be tripping. Live stream crypto, he's sniping for help. Very risky, they shout, but he's playing the wealth. But this is his art. This is his game. He hits the go live and the coins they inflame. Check it. OG Vault in effect. Bringing the heat, what you expect. He's the master of memes, king of the stream. With every go live, he's building the dream. On the east side with beats that glide and a flow so sick, you think he defied. OG be clicking, black candles be sticking, dropping them tips with the market prediction. And when he's on the mic, it's a crypto expedition, smacking down bears with sheer precision. OG off the house, violate the track, violate the track. OG off the house, violate the track, violate the track.
We're here to stay. You can't move my army, no way. No way, no way. If you do also don't test my lane. Raising the bar, you won't overtake me. I'm a soldier, them here, we're here to stay. Come on.
What's up, homies? It is debate night, and I've had a few people ask me to stream the debate and snipe meme coins during the debate because there's probably going to be a lot of good meme coins during the debate. Whenever they say something funny, people are going to make meme coins on pump.fun for it. So I don't know if I'm buying into it as much as other people. People say it's going to be a big night of meme coins. We'll find out. We're going to find out. What's the contract address? I do not have a contract address. What's up, Simply Marvelous? Let's go. Man, I don't know if I'm allowed to stream this. Like, am I going to be able to play it in the background? Because I do have my TV pulled up. I could test it real quick. And you guys let me know if you hear it or not. What's up, TKO Addict? I'm not... Well, I mean, I could create my own meme coin if we can come up with something clever, right, as it happens. But my plan is to get in here to the creation time, show animations on, and watch them as they come in. So I guess we're going to try to like listen to the debate together. Am I allowed to talk during the debate? Because I'm probably going to have a lot to say. I probably shouldn't. I think it's on ABC, TKO Addict. Anybody but Trump 24? Oh, I like that. That's exactly what I'm thinking, Woody. I almost want to vote for RFK. I'm not going to lie. I would like RFK better, and I would vote for him if I thought he could win. Because I'm not a big Joe Biden fan, but I feel like I got to vote for Biden, or else Trump's going to win. I think that's where a lot of people are. And of course, a lot of people are the other way, too. They don't want Biden to win, so they're not going to vote for RFK, even though they might like RFK the most. All right, we're going to do a test. Let me know if y'all can hear this all right. I don't know if y'all are going to be listening to your own debate or if you're going to be listening to mine. What's up, Alejandro? We're going to hopefully find some good meme coins on Pump tonight. Some debate meme coins. I've already seen some cool ones pop up, but I haven't bought anything yet. All right, let's see if y'all hear this or not.
The first time, as John Carl says, that they have seen each other in person in 4 years.
I'm definitely going to have it at least in my background. I got to hear it.
Just about 11 minutes away.
And actually, Marvelous, I was thinking the two big ones you're usually, and I could pull them up, Joe Biden and Trimp. I've never had any Trimp before, but I did have Joe Biden. I made some money on Biden, sold it all. Then it pumped again and it came back down, so I'm not sure if when I sold, like what the market cap was. Is it up from where it is now? Probably not. I probably sold too low. Bought a little Trimp and Bowden earlier today. Probably smart. We'll probably missed that pump already. Buy the rumor, sell the news. I hear something. Yeah, you probably can't hear it very well. I'll have it on in the background so we can, if we hear anything interesting said, I'll probably be watching a little bit, keeping my eye on it. I'll try not to comment on it. If you want, I could just not talk at all and just type my comments. I'm sure I'm going to have stuff to say about whatever they're talking about. All right, let's pull up Joe Bowden real quick. Is that a base? Or I think that's a Solana. I'm pretty sure it's a Solana meme coin. It pumped a little after I bought it, but back to almost where you bought it. So I think if somebody starts to win, if it starts to look like Bowden's winning or Trump's winning, then Trimp might pump. All right, I'm pulling these up over here. It's slow going though. All right, these are my base coins. Looks like Chuck's up a little bit. Toshi and Moki are probably two of my biggest on base anyway. No, Benji's my biggest and it's up. Nice. All right, Solana. See what Bowden's looking like. It's up 5%. It's at 14 cents. Let me see what it looks like overall. Yeah, it looks like it. That's probably where Big A bought, like right here. Then it came back down. Pull up the chart. Let's see if we can put it right here. Make it a little smaller. I'm also going to be looking at pump.fun. Trying to buy stuff quick and maybe even selling it before it gets to Radium. I have not been doing well with meme coins lately, so I kind of gave up on them. Here's Joe Bowden. But I do think it's going to be a hot night on pump.fun. There's a new one too. Have y'all tried the new one? What's it on Dex Screener? Like Dex Screener has its own pump.fun type platform. I've heard about it. I haven't used it yet. I don't think this chart's going to pull up, but you can see it's up 5%. All right. We got it on creation time, so the newest ones will pop up. Don't need to be buying anything right this second, but as soon as it starts and somebody says something interesting, then we jump in. It pumped a little after I bought it, but back to almost where I bought it. Yeah, I think whoever is perceived to be winning will pump, but perceived loser won't dump much. That makes sense. Plus, both people are going to say they won, right? Brett's been good to me on base. The rest I'm still filling out. Yeah, Brett did really good for me. Unfortunately, I sold it all, and then it pumped right after I sold it all, even more. I was up already, but still, I could have been up a lot more. I need to keep my eye on Brett. I think I've got it listed here. It's down to 15 cents, 15.5 cents. I think I sold it like 12 cents, maybe a little bit higher. So if it gets back down to 10 or 12 cents, I might buy back into that. All right, here's a Trump coin that just dropped from pump.fun. You know it's from pump.fun because the liquidity is 158.01071. It's going to let me click on it. Hopefully we're not lagged. There we go. All right, I think that was an old one. It just updated. That was the last one from pump.fun. It's up 15% already. It looks like Photon is super laggy today. Anybody else lagging on Photon? Are y'all using Photon? Seems a bit laggy. Pump's fine. I need to turn these animations off. That'll slow me down. I'll turn them back on when the debate starts in about 7 minutes. I guess I'll have it on in the background. If you want me to turn it up, I can. But I'm sure everybody probably has their own copy that they're listening to. This is one of the new ones that's at 133K and getting ready to start dropping. Usually, this is what everybody's been complaining about. These pump.fun coins go to 100K and then they dump almost every time. I was thinking I probably won't buy any on Photon today. Just buy them on pump. Unless you get into one on pump really early and you hold it all the way till it gets to Radium, then you sell it at 100K. I might do that. I don't know. Hopefully we get some W's today. Big A's on that Brett moonshot. No, he's on the Bowden moonshot because Bowden's about to win. Good old Joe Bowden. They said he's using, and I've seen a couple already, his juice. Ew. Let's see somebody. There it is. They're calling that something. His juice. And you can see it's all Biden and Trump stuff. It's a little too early though. A little too early. Y'all got to be patient. Let's check the bump order. Let me mute my Discord because it will get loud. I saw on Discord, Big A says he's watching the ISS movie. What is ISS? To me, ISS always stood for in-school suspension. I had ISS before. But International Space Station, maybe? All right, let me get this pulled up. Photon, no moonshot. Moonshot is the Dex Screener yeah, that's it. That's the Dex Screener platform. Have you had any luck with that, Big A? I have not tried it yet. I've been staying away from meme coins ever since Tate jumped in. I was like, nah. Tate jumps into something, I'm jumping out. But tonight might be different. Tonight might be a good night. Turn the animations on. Seizure warning. If you're prone to seizures, looking at the Pump.Fun board can be triggering. I haven't bought any new coins lately, but I saw French Montana launched a new coin on base yesterday, so I bought some of that. It's interesting that he launched on base. Who's the guy that launched on... Oh, man. It was kind of like a D-list celebrity. Jason Derulo recently launched, and I have not looked at his coin in a while, but I think it was doing good at first. I know I saw Coffee Chris talking about it. See if I can find Jason Derulo. And I think there was like some controversy with it too. Like people bought a big amount of the supply before they announced that it was launched. Here's Jason Derulo. I don't even know who he is. Is he an actor, singer? Must be an actor, I guess. Never heard of him. But if even his coin can do well, I'm telling you, all these celebrities should be jumping in. Oh, there it is. Oh, on MEXC. Yeah, there's the Derulo one. I don't know. I didn't jump into that. International Space Station, they have a nuclear war breakout while Russian and American crews are up there, and both countries tell them to take control. Oh, is this like a fictional story? I hope so, anyway. If not, yikes. Yeah, so the celebrity meme coin stuff is still happening. Most of them just don't do anything, though. Iggy Azalea is the only one that's done something so far. There's the drop for this weekend. 1,111. Of course, you have to craft these. This is the VV drop. There's going to be a Carnage one, too. It looks pretty cool. I was talking to Dane K about it right before I went live. Maybe after the drop begins, if not all of them get crafted, and I kind of don't think they all will. You can run in here and buy these as people are dumping them and craft one for cheap and then sell those back. I don't know. What's Venom going to do? Maybe it'll be around 80 gems, maybe 100 to start off, and then it'll drop over time, like most of the stuff on VB does. Yeah, okay. I figured if Iggy Azalea's coin is at 70 million, French coin could do at least 35 to 50. Sounds about right. That's sad, man, because I made a lot, not a lot, but I like 5x'd on Mother, and I sold it, I want to say 300k market cap. I sold really, really low, because I jumped into that super early, and I didn't keep a moon bag. I stopped doing the moon bag thing because it never paid off, and then all the stuff that I ended up selling goes to the freaking moon. If I would have held those original coins that I purchased off the Mother drop or whatever it was, the launch, man, I'd be balling right now. This one's like brand new. Alright, yeah, so they're saying debate time. This is the type of stuff we're going to see tonight. I'm not buying one called debate time, but we'll take a look at the buys and the sells. People are going to be pumped for today. There's going to be a lot of action. Almost nothing's going to get to 100% bonding curve because we're going to have jitters. So many jitters. I'm trying to get in at like 5 to 10% and sell at like 50, 60% maybe. And you can see all the action. People are excited. The jitters are excited. It's going to be a lot of jeeting tonight. Alright, I think the smart thing to do tonight is to keep it on the creation time. Show animations on. Poopy Pants Joe, come on now. And just wait for the perfect ones to pop up as they say stuff during the debate. Looks like the debate is getting close to starting. They got Michael Strahan on the TV. That must mean it's almost time to go. You're going to see some funny stuff here. It's not safe for work. Even though I got not safe for work off, you're still going to see stuff not safe for work. So keep that in mind if you're watching the Pump.Fun board as people create new coins. I'm not grabbing anything yet. I'm going to be patient. Is Tate live right now? Probably is. Probably got to be a part of his paid group, though. This is like the 5th Bidenomics one I've seen. They all have the same profile picture. That means it's usually a rug. Gonna be so many rugs. I know. I know, Organic. I know. We might create a couple of our own while we're here. Are my gifts gonna work today?
Not really. Really.
Oops.
Maybe. It's classified.
I got some good ones for anything that happens.
Come on, none of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie.
Yes, I agree. Especially if he like comes to the podium holding something, like he's got his own orange drink with him or something. That one would definitely be a meme that popped off. All right. Alright, looks like we're about to get going. I don't know how distracting this is going to be to have the volume on in the background.
I just want to debate this guy. Make my day, pal.
We're going to try not to add my 2 cents in too often.
Good evening again, everyone. We are just seconds away from bringing you this presidential debate, this pivotal moment in the 2024 race for the White House.
Here we go.
President Biden and Donald Trump about to take the stage for tonight's
PvP.
first presidential debate in Atlanta. The first time a sitting president and a former president go head-to-head. President Biden intensely preparing at Camp David, Donald Trump with policy sessions behind the scenes. We will now see how their strategies pay off. Tonight's debate is hosted by CNN and airing right here on ABC. The presidential debate. President Biden, former President Trump, starts right now.
Highest office.
Jake Tapper memes, anybody?
The American people with just over 4 months until Election Day. Good evening, I'm Dana Bash, anchor of CNN's Inside Politics and co-anchor of State of the Union.
I'm Jake Tapper, anchor of CNN's The Lead and co-anchor of State of the Union. Dana and I will co-moderate this evening. Our job is to facilitate a debate between the two candidates tonight. Before we introduce them, we want to share the rules of the debate with the audience at home.
I'll be using my Shuriken bot
On the left side of the screen,
to buy and sell these.
will be appearing on the right. A coin toss determines their positions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer a question and 1 minute each for responses and rebuttals. An additional minute for follow-up, clarification, or response is at the moderator's discretion.
When it's time for a candidate to speak, his microphone will be turned on, and his opponent's microphone will be turned off. Should a candidate interrupt,
Rug number
his
1.
microphone is muted, he will be difficult to understand for viewers at home. At the end of the debate, each candidate will get 2 minutes for closing statements. There is no studio audience tonight. Pre-written notes, props, or contact with campaign staff are not permitted during the debate. By accepting our invitation to debate, both candidates and their campaigns agreed to accept these rules.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Oh, he looks pumped up. They gave him the good stuff.
And please welcome the 45th.
Am I lagging? How is this already on stage? He wasn't even on there yet. Nah. Dang, it's already at 41%. Yeesh.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's
And
start
here come
with
the
issue that
Jeets.
voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We're going to take a look at what I was left when I became president and what Mr. Trump left me.
Clear your throat, homie.
The economy was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach in your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%.
No
It
handshake.
was terrible. And so what we had to do was try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out another position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come of households where the kitchen table, if the things weren't able to be met during the month, it was a problem. The price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. That we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination of what was left of the corporate greed is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos. literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we have a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people. It's to $15 for an insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they conclude beginning next year. And the situation is we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
Thank you, President Trump.
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce-back jobs, the bounce-back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Bounce back, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, it's the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks that he had the greatest economy. And, the fact of the matter is that we found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant in the military. When he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cause countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness. China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years, under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt. Well, so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out, he did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine. And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent. All of the things he's done, we've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country, and I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we had to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Trump.
Oh, that didn't look good.
He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on.
This one's going Stutter Joe.
They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump.
Got into this really late.
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this and getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states. I did that. Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes.
And maybe this one gets to 100. I might hold it.
In the exceptions, some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But you have to get elected also. And because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby.
Come on, none of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. That's this idea that they were against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it.
I need Joe to stutter again.
6 weeks. You don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor and have him decide on what your circumstances are.
How about stutter, Big A?
The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying,
Stutter Joe.
let's turn civil rights back to the states, that each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. And the idea that she was murdered by an immigrant.
Stutter.
They talk about that, but here's the deal. There's a lot of young women being raped by
We pumped when he stuttered.
by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state line.
Thank you.
There have been many young women.
Every time he stutters, this pumps. I think that's a good sign.
Across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. And in many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have, everybody wanted it brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people, and that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states.
99.
This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy.
Joe stuttering was pretty funny.
Abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. First time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby.
That's not what he's saying.
Nobody wants that to happen. Democrat or Republican, nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. then Roe v.
Angry
Wade does
Joe.
not provide for that. That's not the circumstance.
All right, we gotta
Every
sell
woman's
this
life is in danger.
stutter
She's
as soon
gonna
as it hits
die. That's the
radium.
only circumstance we're
It got to
saying.
100%.
But we are not for late-term abortion, period.
Let it go to 100K, then sell fast. Wait, what
Roe
the?
v. Wade, you have late-term abortion.
Oh,
You
okay.
can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? What's he going to do, in fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected,
That's
and
funny
the
too,
MAGA
though.
Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill?
We keep our eye on Photon.
He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of
We got a
immigration and border
KTB.
security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, but made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers, significantly.
I think the stutter one's gonna pump every time he stutters.
Endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened, I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40%
What's the
fewer
market
people
cap?
coming across the
100,000.
border.
All right, we're
It's
selling.
better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue total ban on.
Let's see what we did, how we did.
Total initiative relative to what we're going to do.
366%, so far so good.
Asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said. We had the safest border in
messed
the
up.
history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions.
I like to watch this one, but it's so slow. Photon has got too many people on it today.
Coming into our country right now. All
Oh, I should have
terrorists
held.
all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere, all over the world. They're pouring in, and this guy just left it open, and he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said close the border. We had the safest border in history. In
9
the
months is not
final
good.
couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the
Let's
way,
go,
they endorsed
Photon.
me for president, but I won't say that because they endorsed me for
He just said it.
Brandon, just speak to him. But we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming out in
Thank you, President Trump.
caravans.
President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything across the border is one who came along and killed 3, and his administration killed an Al-Qaeda person coming in, and his administration killed 3 American soldiers.
Come on, Joe.
3 American soldiers.
Pull it together,
That's the
bro.
only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through. The idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people. That's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating. He's lying.
Brandon's pumping.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration,
Let's see what
you said
Sutter's
you're
at.
gonna carry out, quote, the largest domestic
120,
deportation
130.
operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will
Yeah, we should have held a little longer on that.
in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses
Could've took that to the
are
moon.
citizens, and including those who have
Try to
lived
buy
here
3
for
times on
decades?
pump.
And
All
if
3
so,
failed. You, yeah,
how
you
will do it?
shuriken.
Just 1 second, he said we killed 3 people.
So you bought
The
this
people we
one?
killed are
Ugh.
al-Baghdadi and Soleimani.
I might
The
jump
2
back
greatest
in.
biggest terrorists anywhere in the world, and it had a huge impact on everything.
I need
not
to go to
just
like
water,
100K.
on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it
I'm back in it.
crime.
I should have held.
I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a
Biden
level
migrant
we've never
crime.
seen before.
That's what we're
And
looking
you're
for right
reading
there.
Like these three incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and he just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place.
It's already at
What's taking
73.
place in our country. We're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the
Yeah, it's
borders
dropping
to
already.
never
I'm not
seen
gonna buy.
anything like.
160%. Let's
And we have to get a lot of
go.
these people out, or we have to get them out fast because they're
Still
going
up.
to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places.
I was thinking about buying this one, but
Veterans on
nah.
the street, they're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all, and he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done
Oh,
all these
it just
great things
dunked
that we
hard.
did. And I think he did it just because I approved
The
it,
heck?
which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in.
That's the dip I should have bought right there.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And he opposed, his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke to all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers. My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
Dang.
President Trump?
First of all, that was a made-up
Sucker.
quote, suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said it.
I think this was the first one.
Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taking better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing at your side who was on your staff who said you said it. Period. That's number one. And number two, the idea.
Stutter's dumping.
That I have to apologize to you for anything.
Need you to stutter, Joe.
We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history.
Need you to stutter,
American
Joe.
history. And they now are their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against
Suckers and
Ukraine,
losers.
which is now in its third year.
86%.
Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll
feel like we're
only
too late.
end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based
Sounds
on
like a
every
child.
single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, a president that knew, that was respected by Putin,
This one made
he
it,
would have never,
I think.
never invaded Ukraine. A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers.
Too
You
late.
can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned. And so he's got no love lost, but he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars.
That was
of
Trump's
behind. We
plan.
lost 13 beautiful
We had no
soldiers,
choice.
And 38 soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind too. We left American citizens behind. When
Baby
Putin saw
Trump.
that, he said, "You know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take my." This was his dream. I talked to him about it. His dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine. Never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This
Give me the
place,
terror.
the whole world is blowing up under him.
President Biden?
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life.
Where's malarkey?
We're in a situation where, let's take the last point first.
Malarkey's a good one.
Iran attacked American troops.
Spelled wrong.
Caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president, they attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place. Number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans
Let's buy some malarkey.
of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three,
Oh.
we found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want, and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did to Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want. And he went in, and listen to what he said.
Malarkey's
He was going to
Dev
take
sewed.
Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish, Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I
I'm gonna
never
come back
said
to you
that.
for 1 minute. I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's
That was some
terms
malarkey.
acceptable to you? Keeping the
No, they're
territory
not
in Ukraine.
acceptable. No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started.
If he doesn't stutter, it
This
dumps.
war,
If he stutters, it
he let
pumps.
everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
President Biden, you have a minute.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's
There's
killed
malarkey.
thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, by the way, all that money we give Ukraine are from weapons we make here in the United States. We give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
He stuttered.
Thank you.
Pump it.
Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden,
That's messed up.
you've put forward a
That might do
proposal
good, though.
to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one, everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through to the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Which has 3 stages to it. The first stage is trade the hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas. Number one, they're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world. And so there are 2 different things. Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, greatly weakened, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful for using certain weapons among population centers.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent $100 billion, or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting old. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President Biden, you have a minute.
Bad Palestinian.
So much foolishness.
Try
This is
that.
a guy who wants to get out of NATO. Are you going to stay in NATO? Are you going to pull out of NATO? The idea that we have, our strength lies in our alliances as well. There may be a big ocean, but are we ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe?
Nope.
What happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine and then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
People are still buying.
President Trump,
Might
just
get
to
the
follow
bad
up,
Palestinian.
Would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations. Because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question, would you guard us against Russia? At a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time, nations at that time. And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. Former President Trump, I want to ask you about
Stutter's
January
still
6,
coming back.
2021. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few. On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a bunch of stupid people. What happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say.
They say.
She's saying, oh no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there.
Jeez.
And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her, and she now admits that she turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up to Capitol Hill, number one. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours. 3 hours watching, begging, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, he talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll not forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court, and they said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out, and now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Where's the whiner?
What they've done to some people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities, you go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all gone now, out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
Oh man, sorry that my chat didn't catch up.
The man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is,
Felt so bad
when he's telling
for
us
elder
the
abuse.
fact
For
is
both of
that
them though.
There was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill.
No problem, no problem.
Every one of those those who convicted.
Want that old man as president? I mean, lesser of two evils, bro. Lesser of two evils. Yeah, Woody says not no, but rather him than Trump. Exactly. We got Greedy one in the house. What's up, Greedy? Oh, I must have minimized my chat. That's the problem. Bring the chat back.
Come on. When I asked him the first two debates,
Trying to find some good memes while we watch.
I said, will you denounce
Stutter did good, but it
He
dropped.
said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing to, will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have.
This is
After
funny.
a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents.
I just
You
jump
talked
on
about
this one.
Members of the select committee on January 6th going to jail.
Alright,
And your main
that's fine.
political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political
No,
opponents?
Jay, no.
I said,
Come
you
on,
know,
Jay.
Retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high
If we get some
level.
more buys,
His
I
son
might
is
jump into
convicted.
this
He'll be
one.
convicted probably
I like
numerous
it. It's
other times.
funny.
Should have been convicted before, but his
Biden's stuttering a little bit, that's all.
the statute of limitations.
He's known to
lapse on the
stutter.
most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office.
But
He
Trump
could
is
be a
just lying
convicted
about
felon with
stuff.
all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said
Profit's a profit. I'm still holding mine.
that we're not going to do anything, we're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son.
It's going up.
This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
There's
Thank
a
you,
go.
President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. Well, you want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
Anti-Trump usually doesn't do as well as
That
pro-Trump.
I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American
That's a good one.
just because you're president.
I'm not gonna get in and hope that it does well.
No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three,
And at
the
50.
crimes that you are still charged
This
with,
one is
all the civil
convicted
penalties.
felon.
Billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting the
Exactly.
public, for doing a whole range of things.
45%, I don't know.
On the night while your wife was
Yeah, see,
pregnant.
anti-Trump stuff doesn't do well.
What are you talking about?
Dev's still holding.
Holes in an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
See,
I
alley
have sex
cat?
with a porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started.
Why's he
and
lying?
moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that
Yes,
case.
where's alley cat? Give me that
case
one.
is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat.
It's all rigged, bro.
Prosecutor,
It's all rigged.
High-ranking Democrats appointed people, and
That's his
both the
excuse for
civil
everything.
and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was
Dev
gonna damage
sowed.
me. But when the public found out about these
People still
cases,
buying,
'cause
though.
they understand it better than he does. He has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in
It's
the last
not
2
true.
weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken hundreds of millions of dollars came
Ugh,
in because
stutter.
the
We need you to
public
stutter,
knows
bro.
it's a scam, and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Stormy
Thank you,
Daniels.
President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy
You say
American
manga?
democracy. Do you believe that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases now that are coming out. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you heard any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? Did you ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some
This one's
good
dumping.
ideas? What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again. until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas.
Why are you saying Hitler? I didn't hear that.
Torches and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. I spoke to the mother, and
He's stuttering. We should be pumping. We are.
What for those people? The people the ones that got killed, the one that tried to stop it, and the one he said, I think they're fine people on both sides. What?
It's
American
Jover might be a
president
good one.
would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people. This is the guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are.
Why am I so behind? They just did the Hitler memes.
This guy has no sense of American.
They got the feed without the delay or something.
Jake, both of you know that story.
Heard you stream for money. Is this true? No, you don't get any money doing this. Like a couple $100 a month. Nothing. Basically
He
nothing.
just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last.
The people who stream for
chance.
money are the ones
He's not
that
equipped to be president.
will say whatever they need to say to get money from the
We're
company.
trying to justify his
That's the people that are
His presidency,
change their
without
tune.
question,
Those are the ones that stream for money.
the worst presidency in the history of our country.
Oh,
We shouldn't
brother.
be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's
He made up.
all over the place.
It was. He said it live on TV. He said he made it up.
Debunked it. And just
Debunked
the other
what?
day came out where it was fully debunked. It's
I can look
a
for it.
Nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
He's saying he made this up. He said it in a speech.
All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time.
Yes, very fine
And
people.
the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran.
You can watch
And
that right
because
here.
I heard a guy like this guy can get elected.
What?
He thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying
Wow.
those woods, carrying those torches. Then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president.
This
at
one's
all.
at 16K.
The idea
Dumb and
that
Dumber.
He's talking about all this being fabricated. We saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through
It's good.
windows. We saw people occupying his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why 40 of his 44 top cabinet officers refused to endorse him this time. His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So why?
Let's see if the devs
Why?
hold.
They know him well. They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Thank you, President
Nope.
Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
Oh, is commercial gonna start trending? So I can do a commercial one? Are all the commercials, whatever they play, is that gonna be the next trending coin? I think that makes sense. Whatever the first commercial is, look for that coin. Simply Safe? Did y'all get the same commercial, Simply Safe?
That never stops protecting. We're rated the #1 home security system by experts and trusted by millions.
Looking for Simply Safe to pop up.
Stop intruders in their tracks, and advanced sensors protect against fires, floods.
I see
and more,
FC.
all powered by Fast Protect technology, only from Simply Safe.
I would have made it a Simply Safe coin.
Now install our advanced system your way. Have a pro set
Oh, that dumped big time. Stutter's dumping hard. Just came back in. Well, you caught it at the bottom then, because it dumped. You're gonna run into this. Okay.
to lose 20% of your weight in a year
Yeah.
with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Row.
Yeah, I can't watch people that change their tune to make money.
It's Durham's day off.
That's how you know I'm not trying to make money. I don't change my tune.
Still on the clock. Vital Sun Protection.
It's been the same for over 3 years.
97% of burning UV rays. It's light, but it's working hard.
I'm not seeing anything here to grab.
Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Sunscreen.
But I'm worried about Stutter. I'm worried about Stutter now. Dumb and Dumber. That was kind of funny. Let's see what the market cap is. With 70%, 90%. Dang, I should have bought some. Let's go find Dumb and Dumber. Maybe I want to buy some. When I was watching it, there wasn't that many buys coming in. So 87%. Is this one going?
Check it out, sis. My work
Mm.
anywhere. Cozy. Grab yourself a drink.
Is this dog food in your fridge?
It's not dog
Starting to
food,
think
it's
so.
fresh pet. Real meat
Is it too
and
late though?
veggies.
It's at 33K.
Space to waste on
At 3x if it gets to 100K, that means if it goes to 100%. Let's buy some.
You're all the family
There's something I bought at 0.06 worth. What was that? Not that one. Did I buy any of that? No. Wait. No. Alley Cat? No, I didn't buy any. Felon. Oh, I forgot about Felon. That one's not doing so well. Market cap 4K, $3 still left in there. Might as well just take my $3 out. That one's doing nothing. Let's see what this is doing. Is that 90%? Is it dumping? So far, so good. 94%. So far, so good. I bought before the dump, minus 30%. Which one? Some of this stuff isn't popping up in my Twitter screen, but it's popping up above me. Alright, 93%. We're going to hope this one goes. This one I'm going to be in profit no matter what, because I already sold up 337%, something like that. So I'm probably just going to hold it like a moon bag. You know he's going to stutter again. Every time he stutters, it pumps a bit. But I might sell it back at 100K next time. And that's when it'll go like to $1 million after that, after I sell. Uh-oh. Let's see if the dev is still holding. Looks like everybody's selling. A couple buys came in, so maybe not. Dev's still holding. Alright, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for this one. It's at 85. Still holding my stutter for now.
Welcome back to the CNN presidential debate live from Georgia. Let's talk about persistent challenges you both faced in your first terms and you'd certainly face again in a second term. President Biden, while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to
Joe needs to close his mouth.
Causes, and black Americans
Looks confused.
are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
To acknowledge you made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is there's more small black businesses that have been started than any time in history. Number two, the wages of black
Dumb and Dumber's hurt.
is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number three, we're trying to provide housing for black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporate corporations that collude to keep people out of their houses.
What do you say?
And in addition to that, we found that
Corporate.
the impact on the choice that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce black child care costs.
I'm afraid Pump's going to crash. I think everybody's on it.
We got to make sure we provide for child care costs. We got to make sure, because when you provide those child care protections, you increase economic growth because more people can be in the job market.
He's stuttering. We should be pumping over here.
Be done, considerably more to be
We
done.
are a little bit.
But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49 seconds left. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation
Slippage
is
on
still running
Shuriken.
badly. For example, I provided for the
20%
any black family first-time home buyer should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home, so they can get started. I made sure that we're in a situation where all those black families and those black individuals who provided had to take out student loans that were ballooning, that if they were
Bumping again.
in nursing,
75.
and anything having to do with volunteerism, if they paid their bills for 10 years through student debt, all the rest was forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that, and we're going to do a whole lot more for black families.
Thank you, President Trump.
And he caused the inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right, it's been very bad.
It's world inflation.
He caused the
That's
inflation,
bullcrap.
and it's killing black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food.
Uh-oh,
where it's doubled,
Dumb and Dumber
tripled,
dropped.
and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country.
Probably gonna see a bunch of racist stuff now.
No inflation. It was
Good thing I can't see the pictures. I was gonna buy that one because it's like Tate's.
And all this money that's being thrown out the window. He caused inflation.
The pump's not working.
As you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill.
Yeah, Denny OC for the debate.
Millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18. It could be.
Can't click into any now though.
20 million people hell. They're taking
Too many people on
jobs,
pump.
and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet.
Too late now.
You're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden?
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back.
True.
50% unemployment. He decimated the economy. Absolutely decimated the economy. That's why there was no inflation at the time. There were no jobs. We provided
Can't even refresh.
thousands of millions of jobs for
Big A, you able to
individuals
use
in all
pump?
communities, including
It's doing
minority
nothing.
communities.
I think it froze. I think it died.
We have health insurance. We have covered. The ACA has increased. I made sure that there.
Am I still alive?
$8,000
What's
per
going on?
person in the family to get written off in healthcare.
A lot of stuttering going on from Joe. We've already made some money on the Stutter Joe coin.
And we're going to try again if they win. You find ourselves in a position where the idea
You can't do nothing on pump,
that
though.
We're not doing it. We put more police on the street than any administration has. He wants to cut the cops. We're providing for equity and
Your pump is fine. Okay, what's up, Disclosure?
to make it.
Gary Network, I have not checked that out yet.
Inflation
I know you've
caused
mentioned that to me several
by
times. I need to check it out.
tremendous malfeasance in the way he handled the pandemic.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge
My
is
pump
the climate
is
crisis.
not pumping.
2023 was the hottest year in recorded history, and communities across the country are confronting the devastating
I don't even think I'm getting
effects of
updates here.
intensifying wildfires,
See what this
stronger
looks like.
hurricanes, and rising sea levels. Former President Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take any action
Still at 80%.
as president to slow the climate crisis?
Let me just go back to what he said about
Come on, pump.
police. How close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump. Almost every police
He
group.
talks about himself in the
And
third
what he's done
person.
to the black population is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years he called them super predators. We can't, in the 1990s, we can't forget that. Super predators was his name, and he called it to them.
Oh, no.
And they've
There's
taken
two
great
of them.
offense at it, and now they see it happening.
There's a bunch of
But
them.
when they see what I did for criminal justice reform and for the historically black colleges and universities,
Why did they say it like that?
funded them and got them all funded, and the opportunity zones with Tim, as you know, Tim Scott was incredible. He did a great job. Great senator from South Carolina. He came to me with the idea, and it was a great idea. It's one of the most successful economic
So get rid of
development
that.
acts ever in the country. Opportunity zones, and the biggest beneficiary are blacks, and that's why we have the best numbers with them in
Pump worker Dev.
maybe ever. They're saying
That's
ever.
fake.
I read this morning where ever the best numbers. He's lost much of the black population because he's done a horrible job for black people. He's also done a horrible job for Hispanics. But when do you see these millions of people pouring into our country and they're going to take the jobs, and it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet? It's a disaster.
You've 38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever, and we were using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet,
You just say something funny.
4 years, I had the best
Yeah, really.
environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I don't know where the hell he's been. The idea that anything he said is true. I've passed the most extensive climate change legislation in history.
His voice is going.
We find ourselves
This one's going.
black colleges.
80%.
I came up with $50 billion for HBCUs, historic black universities and colleges.
That's true.
They don't have the kind of contributors that they have to build these laboratories and the like. Any black student is capable in college of doing what any white student can do. They just have the money. But now
I think he stuttered a little, so we're pumping.
jobs in high tech. We're in a situation where the idea that he is claiming to have done something that had the cleanest water, he had done a damn thing with the environment. He pulled out of the Paris Peace Accord, the Climate Accord.
Yeah, I think this one's already gone. I'm not gonna buy it.
1.5 degrees
I know. I noticed that big A.
There's no way back. The only existential threat to humanity is climate change, and he didn't do a damn thing about it. He wants to undo all that I've done.
the Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion, and China nothing, and Russia nothing, and India nothing.
Oh, maybe I should have bought that one.
Of the United
It's at
States.
90%.
I ended it because I didn't want to waste that money because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones who was costing us money. Nobody else was paying into it, and it was a disaster. But everything that he said just now, I'll give you an example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin down for the seniors.
How?
I took care of the seniors.
That's bullcrap.
What he's doing is destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people. But we're destroying our country. They're taking over our schools, our hospitals.
Come on,
They're going
Pump.
to be taking over Social Security. He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
How did he do the insulin drop? That was part of the Inflation Reduction Act.
The only ones of consequence who were not members of the Paris Accord. How can we do anything if we're not able to, the United States can't get us under control? One of the largest polluters in the world, number one. We're making significant progress. By 2035, we will have cut pollution in half. We've made significant progress, and we continue to make progress. We set up a
100%.
Corps for thousands of young people who learn how to deal with them, just like the Peace Corps. And we're moving in directions that are going to significantly change the elements and cause of pollution. But the idea that he claims that he has the biggest heart up here and he's really concerned about.
Did somebody pick their nose? I see a nose pick. That would do well if they did.
I've not seen any indication of that. And by the way, with regard to prescription drugs, one company agreed that they would reduce the price to $35, which I was calling for, one, voluntarily. I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay. And by the way,
so every day, millions of
By the way.
Americans struggle just to make ends meet. For many older Americans, Social Security provides a critical lifeline. President Biden, if nothing is done to Social Security, seniors will see their benefits cut in just over 10 years. Will you name tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time the first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're gonna, I'm proposing that.
Trying to get this by the way, but I can't click into it.
The millionaires pay 1%. So no one I would not raise the cost of Social Security for anybody under $400,000. After that, I began to make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
That'd be a sad thing to witness, honestly.
That you think that would be able to help keep
I don't know. He's pretty fragile.
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solvent, but the biggest thing will do.
Looks like, by the way, he's not doing nothing.
Because he wants to get rid of Social Security. He thinks there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare both times. And
Somebody needs to say something funny.
The program put forward by the House Republican caucus that he, I believe, supports is in fact wanting to cut it as well. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous.
Oh, there's a by the way.
And by the way, the American public has
said it
greater
again.
healthcare coverage today than ever before. And on the ACA, as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people do not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only thing allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they, in fact, are part of the ACA. And by the way, the other thing is, we're in a situation where...
He said by the way like 5 times.
Black communities, I've raised the amount of money for Pell Grants another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year are going to be able to get $15,000 toward the tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He can look you in the face. About so many other things too.
So we should make a projection token.
We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation. The losers and suckers story that he made up.
Come on, none of it's true. None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie.
Millions of people are pouring into our country, and they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens. What they're doing to the VA, to our veterans, is unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
It's dumped.
President Biden?
The idea that veterans are not being taken care of, I told you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he said he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it, number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be in a situation where all these millions and millions, the way he talks about it, illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world. The reason why we have the most successful economy in the world. We're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates he talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession. And inflation is going to increase and go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted him the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
President Biden, thank you so much. Let's turn to the cost of child care, which many American families struggle to afford. President Trump, both you and President Biden have tried to address this issue. But the average cost of child care in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families,
it's kind of funny.
The cost of child care for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do to make child care more affordable?
And just to go back, the general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19
That's
people
why he
that
made it up.
didn't say it, and they're very highly respected, much more so
Such
than him.
bullcrap.
The other thing is, he doesn't fire people. He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good.
What do y'all
Not
think?
easy to fire people. You pay a price for it, but they were no good. I inherited these people. I didn't put them there. I didn't put Comey there. He was no
What's
good.
going up?
I fired him. This guy hasn't fired anybody. He never fires. He should have fired every military man that was involved with that the Afghanistan horror show. The most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. He didn't fire. Did he fire anybody? Did he fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing
The history of the world, y'all.
Many from prisons, many from
The history of the world.
mental institutions. Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it. But look,
I said it first. That's literally what he's saying.
He's destroyed our country. Now all of a sudden he's trying to get a little tough on the border. He came out with a nothing deal, and it reduced it a little bit, like this much. It's insignificant. He wants open borders. He wants our country to either.
But he hit 100% on this one.
To pick up those people as voters, and I don't think we just can't let it happen. If he wins this election, our country doesn't.
I can click on. I'm trying to click on your name. There it is.
Chance.
Yeah, you'll have to have a buy or a sell for it to get bumped to the top of the page. If you just make it, I don't think it'll go to the top until somebody buys from it.
Country in the world, with the United States of America.
Oh, that's weird. Now, I go to creation time too if I want to find mine, or you could just search for it. But yeah, it's got a bump, or nobody's gonna buy it.
No one wants to screw around with us. Nobody. Number one. Number two, the idea that we're talking about worst presidents. I wasn't joking.
We're almost at 100%. Boom, we hit 100% on this one. So up 2x and a little bit more, but I think it goes to 100K when it hits. I'll probably go to 100K. I don't know if I should just dump my stutter. I better hold my stutter. Let me click it, put it in here so I don't lose it.
Doing anything to deal with child care.
I'm waiting for Biden to hit this one.
We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the
Probably sell too soon, but I'm selling.
Women and men, single parents to be able to go back to work, and we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make child care more affordable, if you want to take your minute.
Just to understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you, and they rate me one of the best, okay?
Yeah, your own people,
If I'm
dude.
given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us.
Somebody put
Nobody
boring
ever cut taxes
debate.
like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants
What?
to raise everybody's taxes by 4
He
times.
just makes
He
up
wants the
stuff.
tax cuts to expire.
By
So
4
everybody,
times?
including the two of you, are going to pay 4 to 5 times. Nobody ever heard
So
of this before.
stupid.
All my life, I'd grow up and I'd see politicians.
Made one
talking
called
about
Cussin'
cutting
Joe, but
taxes.
already sold it.
Cut taxes, as I
Yeah, we've
said.
made a couple
We
during
did
our
more
meme
business.
streams.
Apple and all these
There's
companies,
Biden,
they were
so I need
bringing
to sell.
money back into our country.
That's the wrong one.
The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
Sell at $45, up $395. It's dropping. Get out, get out, get out. Dump, dump, dump.
He will increase
Boom.
the
Almost
taxes on
5X'd.
middle class people. I said I never raised a tax on anybody making less than
Alright.
$40,000. I didn't. But these tariffs.
See where it goes from there. It's probably gonna pump like crazy since I sowed.
You know what economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more because they're going to have to pay the difference in food.
196. Yeah, I think it's going up.
Number two, he's in a situation where he
Oh,
talks
no.
about how he has not raised.
Maybe I should hold it 200K from now on. Let's dump it now.
Middle class has been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years.
We
which is gonna
5X though, that's all good.
bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest trade deficit with China since
Yeah, I think this one's just gonna die off.
Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss
Yeah,
an
stutter
epidemic
back up.
impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number
Opioids.
of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up.
Alright,
Under
that's
your
dead.
term, it has
We got
gone
out.
up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both of you have made, more than 100,000 Americans are dying from overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl and other opioids.
Need Joe to stutter
What do
some
you do
more.
to help Americans right now in the throes of addiction who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
To finish up,
No, brother.
we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We
No,
have the largest
what?
deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China. So I think he's afraid to deal with them or something.
Dude is just lying through his
He never
teeth.
took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't because it's too much money. It's tremendous, and we saved our steel industries, and there was more to come, but he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit
What are you talking
in the
about?
history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
How?
So, President
How is
Trump,
China killing us?
67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until
It's
COVID came
1.5
along.
trillion
We had
under Trump.
2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country
Liar.
in every way. And then we had to get tough, and it was the drugs pouring across the border were it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog that's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it.
What?
We did a lot. And
What are
we
you
were getting very low numbers, very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers
Gotaways,
of
there it
the
is.
amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen, at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you. President Biden?
Fentanyl and the byproducts fentanyl
I
went down
wrote.
for a while. And I wanted to make sure we used the machinery that can detect fentanyl. These big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more
That's kinda good.
numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues and said, "Don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically."
30%.
He never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors.
Dev has
and
10%.
fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now, struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended Remain in Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made it catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage, we always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter, I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly.
It's a big
as soon as
sell.
I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago, but Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where we paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden,
I hear no punchlines, nothing funny yet. That's what we need.
end of your second term.
86.
How do you
He's old.
address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest
86
job in the
Joe.
world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record, look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me.
That one
As
right.
I said, 15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought an awful lot of people. Well, the whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40%
He's
of the
stuttering.
market.
We should be
We
pumping.
invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and to bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States, and guess what? Those fabs they call to build these chips. Those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's
Fabs.
billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and those who he calls up to, from Kim Jong-un, he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
So he needs to make a grumpy old man coin.
Tests, I aced it. Both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical
Cognitive
exams every
tests.
year. And you know, we knock on wood,
Scripts.
wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior. 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have
It's
to
so
be
fake.
quite smart, and you have
Or
to
own the
hit
club.
ball a long way. And I
Cheats.
do
He
it. He doesn't do it.
cheats.
He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me.
Give
to
me a
golf
Trump
match.
cheats coin.
He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test, and you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor, and then I took another one, a similar one, and one of them said they'd never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
Such BS.
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds.
What?
Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's it. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6.
Driving contest.
But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag.
Biden's struggling.
You can do it.
That's the biggest line. He's a 6 handicap of all.
Or is it 8 handicap?
Yeah.
8. But I had,
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Okay,
Let's not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to hear
Let's not act like children.
Now they're talking about who's better at golf.
that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Yes,
and
they are. Yes, they
you
are.
will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police.
Yeah,
and as
right.
Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His
load a page.
military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him, they don't fear him, they have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is attack on all, and required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done.
Just this dumped.
Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful, it's because of the people, not me, it's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
Give it up on Stutter, Big A.
To you for a follow-up. The question was, will you accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it.
How they take land from Obama and Biden?
I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started, ever, with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you asked me a question before, would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia. Because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of
He's not
people
answering the
now,
question. He's
so
trying
they've
to
lost so many
he's
people.
trying to
It's so
not
sad.
answer the question about
They've
accepting the
lost so many
results.
people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked.
We got bots buying.
President Trump, the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good
Ouch,
election,
yeah.
absolutely. I would have
I thought it was going to keep going. I should not have bought back in.
But the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week.
You said that last time. You never did.
In a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponent stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up by numbers and driven him up to a very high level, because the people understand it.
Oh, yep, it's dropping. 10K.
When this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost the first time, you continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation.
Ouch. Dang, Big A.
There's no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what,
It had a lot of action, so I can see why you jumped in.
you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepted anything, you can't stand loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
They're not really saying nothing funny.
We'll be right back with more
Commercial time.
presidential debate live from Georgia.
I don't see anything I want to jump into right now. We did at 400%, 5x on something a minute ago. What was that? Biden, yeah. Let's go look at that, see if it pumped back up. I think I sold it like 150.
This puppy has been in an accident, but Carfax.com shows how an accident impacts price, so you don't have to
Stutter, I'm just gonna leave it alone. It's only like $1 anyway. I got $1 left, plus we 4x'd on it before I bought back in, so we're still up. Yeah, that one dumped, so good thing we got out of that. Maybe we'll check to see if any new pairs drop. Sexy red for president. Alright, see if any new coins dropped from Pump. I don't know, man. It's not really going too great for Joe. Oh, Joe. It might be Jover. I think they did this before the convention so that if Joe messes up too bad, they can switch out the candidate. I hope they switch out the candidate. But like listening to Trump just lie about everything is crazy. And then he calls the other person, says the other person's lying about everything, and then he comes out and just lies. He lied about the lowering the rate for insulin. That was a big lie. I can't remember all the lies. I mean, like Joe said, everything he says is like complete bullcrap. This one's at 150. Jover. 27% for the top 10 holders. Just got a nice big spike. I mean, maybe. I want to know what the profile picture looks like. I'll pull it up. It's still pumping right now. Ugh. I'm afraid if I buy though, they usually go to 200, right? And then they jump back down. I feel like I'm buying at the top if I buy right now. Let's see what it looks like. Trump is good for my portfolio, so not terrible if he wins, to be honest. Yeah, I know he's good for crypto, but bad for democracy. Oh yeah, I remember this one. 200K and dropping. It's got a lot of action though. I'm up already. I might as well grab something. I bet it goes down though when the commercial breaks over. Then again, if Joe does bad and people will decide that Trump won, maybe this is the one that pumps. I guess it's got a good profile picture. Wow, ooh, it's dumping. 150, 151K market cap. Now it's dumping a little bit. I don't see anything on Pump.fun. Like I said, they really haven't said anything too funny. We didn't get a lot of punchlines yet. Need some punchlines. This one looks like it's dropping. Catch the dip and ride it back up. I don't know, maybe. Seems too scary. It did go back up. 157, 159. Yeah, better not. Keep my eye on this one. I feel like I should have bought in. I was about to buy in at 200K though, so I would be down.
To deliver their closing statements as predetermined by a
closing statements.
Begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
Need something good here.
We made significant progress from the debacle that was left by President Trump in his last term. We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience, or anyone out watching this debate, do you think the tax system is fair? The fact is that I said nobody making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes.
Power nap. That's pretty funny.
That would be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit. Number one, he's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after where he handled the pandemic.
Debacle. That's be a good point.
He now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff.
I think this one's good.
In the United States of America.
It's funny.
Could
be wrong.
He wants to get away with get rid of the ability of Medicare to.
I might regret this.
The ability for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion.
I don't know. I thought this one was funny enough. It's not gonna make it. Everybody's selling. Get out! Get out! Get out!
Every senior. All along where it's happening now.
Dev didn't sell.
Everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits that people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people.
Power nap was funny though.
We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation and give people a break.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, you now have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Punchline coming.
Politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine.
I think the golf stuff is going to be funny. People are going to be talking about it.
He didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk
doing
about
all right.
Charlottesville.
I'm just jumping.
This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times Charlottesville. The whole country is exploding because of you. Because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's ever seen.
People dumping.
Never seen anything like, even from a medical standpoint, right to try.
Don't
We
dump.
can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're
I'm holding this one.
terminally ill.
It's the winner.
Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what we did for the military was incredible choice for our soldiers. Where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves
still holding.
fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living, and that's why I had the highest approval rating in the history of the VA. So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President Trump. President Biden.
It's Jover. I feel like I might want to buy that.
Of this debate, Anderson Cooper and Aaron
It's already pretty high though, 180.
on CNN.
It's starting to pump.
Watched as a nation now, the first presidential debate of this election cycle. This is the
Oh, it just went crazy.
debate that
Crap.
we were
I got him
witnesses
at the
as a
top.
country. We're staying on this shot to see if they acknowledge one another. One of the telling parts of
Probably
this
not.
was from the very start.
Dang, I didn't mean to buy at the top. There we go, we're still pumping. This one's at 69%. I think people are going to be talking about golf a lot. Alright. It went pretty fast. We 4x'd on one, but then we bought back in, took a L. We 5x'd on one. And it's Jover. We're going to see what it's Jover does. I tried to get in down here, but by the time I bought, we was up here. So probably even on this. Let's see. Down 5%. That's fine. This one, I think the golf story is going to be the big story that everybody's talking about on the news tomorrow. My handicap's lower than your handicap. I mean, do you really think that Donald Trump won a bunch of these tournaments at his own golf clubs against professional golfers? Like, who really believes that? If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. Alright, I don't think this one's going to do anything. Might have to give up on it. But it's Jover. Come on, man. Bought in at the very tip top. But I think this is one that could pump if everybody thinks that Trump won. And I don't know, I gotta say, Trump might have won that one. There's a lot of stuttering happening. He was a pretty raspy. That can't be good. Raspy's usually not a good thing. 68, 70%. I think we bought in at like 80%. It's Jover. Nope, this is the one I'm looking at. Presidential golf. Yep, down a little bit on that one. But now that it's over, people are going to be looking for meme coins to buy. Oh no, it might be Jover for this coin. Yep, making a comeback. Should I just sell? Might just have to sell and get out of that one if it gets back to 240. It's at 200 right now. Whew. This be one of the ones that I sell and it goes to like 4 million market cap. Oh, dumping. People buying the dip, coming back up. 170. I don't like the way that looks. Y'all hear my kid in the background going crazy? Power Nap was a good one. I'm surprised they didn't do better. Did that one never catch on? Nope. I like Power Nap for some reason. It's Jover. Down almost 50% on its Jover. Yeah, I think it's Jover for Jover. Oh, we got some buys coming in. Let's hang on a little bit longer. Maybe too long. Maybe we held too long. This one also might be Jover. Once the debate's over, people seem to stop buying. Stuff stops pumping. This one's at 150. Yeah, it's making a lot of drops. I think we're gonna sell. As long as we finish the day in profit, that's all gravy. We got a VV drop coming up on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is the Up movie from Disney. That's probably gonna be. I gotta look at it. I gotta see the edition sizes, but most likely it's gonna be worth going for because it's Disney and the edition sizes have been low on all the drops recently. Yeah, I'm afraid if I sell, it's gonna go to like 2 million. That's usually what happens when I sell stuff. And let's see, this one is. Dev is still holding. Doesn't have any socials. 37%. I feel like that's kind of the story of the debate. That's what everybody's gonna be talking about. Them comparing their golf games. Am I sitting here talking to myself? We got a couple people watching. What's up, everybody? Hope you enjoyed the debate. It was interesting. I don't want to say Trump won just because I'm biased, but Joe was not looking too hot. He was not looking like a spring chicken, I'll be honest. You want to watch it pump? I'm going to sell, and as soon as I sell, it's going to pump like crazy. I don't know, it's starting to have some action now. Patience, patience. I guess I'm up on the day even if I don't sell either one, so I could hold. See if anything happens with these. 123, so it's kind of moving back up. Down 50%. This one is not rugging, surprisingly. 34%. I might have to get rid of this one. But I'm holding out hope for its Jover. It's got a lot of action. A lot of people are going to feel like it really is Jover. That's its Jover. That's golf. Ugh. $3 left in golf. I might as well just give up on golf. A lot of sells coming in. The only thing keeping it alive is the dev is still holding. Alright, let's sell our stuff and call it a day. Which one is this? Golf? Alright, give up on presidential golf. Probably keep your eyes on these throughout the rest of the night. These will probably pump after I sell. Knowing my luck. But actually we did alright today. Let's see. 0.8. I think we started off at 0.074 or something. And maybe we just hold this Jover. I just feel like if I sell, it's going to go crazy. I think we're going to hold it. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Check it in the morning. Nah, I don't think it's going to. Maybe watch it for the next hour or so. Maybe it'll pump again. I think the only thing it's going to get to pump is if I sell, then it's going to go crazy. Alright, I'm holding this Jover. It's not Jover for Jover. How about that? Alright, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me during the debate. Hopefully y'all made some W's. I know Big A took a L on the stutter coin. Ooh, this one is rough. But hey, it was fun. It was exciting. It was a decent debate. Somebody asked, are all the U.S. debates like that? Pretty much presidential debates. I mean, even local debates too. Yeah, they go at each other's throat. That's what we like to see. So hopefully Biden performed well enough that they don't vote him out and put somebody else in there, because I'm not voting for Kamala. I'll vote for RFK if I have to. All right, everybody. I will see you at the next Drop Day live stream on Saturday. And then again on Sunday when Venom and Carnage drop. Later, homies.